While there have been many good James Bond games, there also have been disappointing ones too. Here are my top 5 worst James Bond games. Number 5. Goldeneye Rogue Agent. Despite sharing its name with the 1995 film and the 1997 game, Rogue Agent has no relation to any past Bond titles. The Goldeneye in this game comes from when your character loses an eye in a fight with Dr. No, and Goldfinger offers you to enlist in his organisation. Goldfinger replaces your dodgy eye with a cybernetic one, giving you abilities such as being able to see through cover and hack electronics. While the game's premise is quite unique, the gameplay sadly isn't. The level design can be quite basic and graphics quite dull. There are occasional areas in which you can use the environment to kill enemies, but this mechanic isn't developed as well as it could be. Goldeneye Rogue Agent isn't too overly bad as a game, but there are many better first-person shooters on the PS2. Number 4. Tomorrow Never Dies. Based off the film of the same name, it was released back in 1999 on the PS1. Black Ops Entertainment decided to change the gameplay from what made GoldenEye 64 so popular, in favour of making the game a third-person shooter, which doesn't work too well. The inclusion of an auto-lock makes killing enemies far too easy, and the weapon select system makes things quite awkward. Added into the mix are graphical glitches too. The lack of a multiplayer mode disappointed people too upon the game's release. In short, Tomorrow Never Dies is just a poor man's siphon filter. Pick that game up instead. Number 3. Quantum of Solace. While the PS3 and 360 versions of Quantum of Solace are okay, if not average, the port to Nintendo Wii isn't good by any standards. The graphics suffer and the gameplay can be a right pain. Aiming your gun with the Wii remote doesn't work overly well as other first-person shooters on the Wii. The added targeting system and adjustable settings can help, but not enough to make things enjoyable. The Call of Duty 4 engine was used to create this game, but it wasn't optimised enough for the Wii, as slowdown happens frequently. If you want to play this title, stick to the 360 and PS3 versions. Number 2. 007 Legends. While GoldenEye Rogue Agent had a unique premise, there's nothing unique about 007 Legends. The game starts as a scene from Skyfall where Bond is accidentally shot off the top of a train and falls into a river. He then has flashbacks to 5 different past adventures he's had, each serving as 5 different missions in the game. The game borrows so heavily from the Call of Duty series, you'd rather just be playing that instead. The inclusion of basic hacking minigames, terrible boss fights, and tedious stealth segments drag down the experience further. With each flashback to past films having a modern feel, all the charm's lost and you're left with a hollow gaming experience. Number 1. 007 Racing. 007 Racing is just a selection of awkward driving missions. Driving sections from other Bond games are much better than this game alone. The driving is clunky, and firing your vehicle weapons at enemies can be easier said than done. The graphics are poor even by PS1 standards, and the voice acting is pretty embarrassing. While the missions have varied objectives, the gameplay will have you throwing your controller across the room.